Hi everyone, me, Miranda, and Jenna decided to do our lesson as a health lesson for grades kindergarten through first grade. Our lesson is easily adaptable and it talks about food and what food is good for you and your body. So the lesson essential question would be, how does food impact our bodies and impact our bodies in the way they feel? And our unit essential question is, what is nutrition and why is it important to our health? So the outcomes we have for the students is that we want them to understand what foods are healthy and unhealthy and what foods are necessary for their health and their growth. Some of the standards that we include are for first grade or for kindergarten: explore food and food groups and develop awareness of nutritional food choices. Examples would be participate in classroom cooking activities, hold conversations with knowledgeable adults about daily nutritious meals and snack offerings. So the reason we chose this lesson was because if you look at statistics, kids these days are, 1, eating and buying unhealthy snacks, and 2, the rate of child obesity has tripled since the 1970s, which I believe is important because I think kids, 1, don't go outside enough anymore, and 2, they just eat whatever they want. Most people, I'm not gonna generalize everyone. So yeah. So the anticipatory set, what we would do first is we would gather all the students on the carpet and display pictures of foods and different kinds of foods, like healthy, unhealthy, on a PowerPoint in front of the classroom. The teacher will start by asking questions to the students. What is each picture and what do you think we're talking about today? Once the student asks everyone what the pictures are and the teacher goes over, we'll display pictures of like carrots, broccolis, apples, bananas, milk, tomatoes. The students give their answers. The teacher will introduce the topic to students by asking them what all of the pictures they just saw have in common. Of course, probably the number one answer would be their food, but we want them to kind of go a little deeper and see if they think it's like healthy foods. See if they recognize that yet. To kind of poke into their background knowledge a little bit to see if we need to do anything further. For the introduction, the teacher will ask the students what all the foods they just learned have in common. The teacher will explain to class that all the foods are healthy. The teacher will ask students what they know the word healthy, and then if they don't, they will explain together what the word healthy means. So after having a whole class discussion, the teacher will tell the students that all these healthy foods are nutritious for their bodies. Nutritious would be a very big word for them, so I know that we would have to go over that, but that's one of the vocab words we want them to learn at the end of the lesson. So the teacher will explain that nutritious means that we are going to give our body the food it needs to have the energy to grow. And then students will turn and talk to their partners or peers, which would already be set, about their favorite healthy foods or healthy foods that were not mentioned in the presentation. So again, we only named 5 or 6 in the presentation, so they have a lot of room to kind of pick healthy foods. And if they don't, that just shows me, the teacher, that we need to change what we're doing or add more to what we're doing so they understand what healthy means.
So for the teacher guided practice, the students will go grocery shopping around the room using play food from the kitchen in the classroom. So the teacher would scatter the play food all around the classroom, and each student would be given a grocery shopping bag. They would choose 5 different play foods for them to put into their grocery bag. Then they would return to the carpet. Once they got back to the carpet, we would discuss the choices that they made for the food that they got. And then we would make a T-chart where we would go over all of the food that the students picked up, and we would decide if that food was healthy or unhealthy. When going over what food is healthy or not healthy, this is also a good time to assess the students formatively, whether if they understand what is healthy and what isn't healthy. At this point in the lesson, the students should have a grasp on foods that they should eat all the time, the ones that nourish their body, and foods that are only used as a treat. So once the class completes the T-chart, the students would all return back to their seat, and they would be handed a piece of paper that has a lunchbox on it, and the students would be asked to fill their lunchbox with at least 4 foods. And at this point, the teacher would ask them to really think about the choices that they're making to put into their lunchbox. They should be thinking, does this food fuel my body? Is this food healthy or unhealthy? If they do decide to put something unhealthy, the students should be able to say that it's just a treat and this isn't something that they'll eat all the time. This is also an activity that gives the teacher a chance to make sure that the student really understands on their own what's healthy and what's unhealthy. When all of the students complete the activity, they'll talk to their classmates that are sitting at the same table as them, and they'll discuss the choices that they made, and they can all talk about whether the food was healthy, whether the food was unhealthy, and why they chose the specific food that they did.
So today I will be talking about the formative assessment as well as the closure activities in our lesson. So for the formative assessment, it states that the teacher will know if the students have successfully met the outcome of the lesson by completing the lunchbox activity. So for our lunchbox activity, each student will receive one of these, and they will draw 4 of their favorite foods in their lunchbox. They could be unhealthy or healthy foods. So for example, at the end of my lesson, each student stood up in front of the classroom and shared what each foods were in their lunch boxes and if they were healthy or unhealthy foods. And this gave me an idea as the teacher if the students understood what it meant when a food was healthy or unhealthy, which leads to the closure activity, which is a teacher-led discussion about healthy food and how they will make healthy choices. So this could go like, I could ask the students next time they go to the grocery store, what healthy foods would you choose? And the students would answer carrots, apples, oranges. And then I could ask, what unhealthy choices would you make if you went to the grocery store? And the students could answer donuts or ice cream. So this also will give me an idea as a teacher if the students understood what it means to be unhealthy or healthy.